In their Live with Kelly and Mark segment, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos discuss marital issues. Before every show, Stunk Mark has a well-liked host talk. The two typically discuss and frequently vent about the issues that are bothering them at the moment in this part. This is what Mark said this week before Kelly called him out for being a hypocrite. Regarding cell phones, Mark Consuelos rants to Kelly Ripa. Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa say they are free to vent during this section. They declared that nothing, not even their marriage, is off bounds. The hosts of the daytime talk shows claim that because they are in front of a live studio audience, this is a secure place to be. But they discuss more than simply their marital issues. One of them will occasionally vent about something that is bothering them in their lives. Since Mark never carries cash, Kelly's daily tirade was about him. She said that she was his ATM and that she was his backup plan in case he needed money. But Kelly had nothing to do with Mark's tirade. It didn't initially anyway. The two were discussing the potential disruptions caused by children using cell phones in class. It was this subject that triggered Mark. Mark wasn't even upset about cell phones in classrooms. He began to rant about individuals who bring their phones to fireworks or concerts. Because they want to document things, he believes they are missing out and not experiencing the present. He added that he becomes irate when others attempt to play the event videos for him. "You'll never look at it again, all the people filming concerts and fireworks," Mark remarked. "You know what? I'd rather not see it. I don't give a damn. I do not wish to view your film on your mobile device." He concluded by advising everyone to live in the now and not recording things. Mark Consuelos is called out by Kelly Ripa, live with Kelly Ripa interrupting Mark's tirade at that point. Kelly reminded him about the occasion by saying, "You recorded me dancing on stage with Madonna." She claimed that performing on stage during a Madonna show was something she had always wanted to do, but Mark was not going to let it stop him. He claimed that if he hadn't been filming the performance, he would have appreciated the concert more. Kelly then unleashed her fury on Mark. According to her, Madonna has photographed and recorded 800,000 videos of himself, his children, and his family throughout the years, including the Madonna concert. How do you feel with Mark Consuelos criticizing those who record concert moments on their phones? Do you think Kelly Ripa was correct to call him out for doing it himself, or do you disagree? The morning light streamed into the set of Live with Kelly and Mark, catching the subtle glint of Kelly Ripa's earrings as she shuffled through her cards. The audience buzzed with anticipation, not yet aware that the day's biggest laugh wouldn't come from a celebrity guest or a quirky cooking demo, but from Kelly Ripa calling out her husband and co-host, Mark Consuelos, for what she considered blatant hypocrisy. "Welcome back, everyone," Kelly began, flashing her signature wide smile. "Before we dive into the headlines, I have to tell you, I caught my husband doing something last night that I cannot let slide." The audience leaned forward, and Mark, sitting beside her, already looked uneasy. He knew that tone of voice. He had heard it in the kitchen, in the car, even on vacation in Italy. It was Kelly's "I'm about to expose you with charm and wit" tone. "Oh," Mark muttered, adjusting his tie. "Here we go. Whatever this is, I promise, it's not as bad as she's making it sound." Kelly placed her cue cards on the table and crossed her arms, clearly delighted to have the floor. "So, ladies and gentlemen, my darling husband, you know, the man who insists that I am the one who hoards snacks, I am the one who never follows the house rules, and I am the one who forgets to turn off lights. Well, guess who I found last night, standing in front of the open fridge at midnight, eating directly out of the leftover container with a fork." The audience erupted into laughter, cheering as Mark buried his face in his hands. "No," Kelly continued, her eyes sparkling with mock indignation. "Not a plate, not even a napkin. Just full caveman mode, going at it like it was his personal buffet." Mark raised a finger, trying to get a word in. Okay, in my defense, I had a long day, I was starving, and—" "Oh no, no," Kelly cut him off, wagging her finger with dramatic flair. "This is the same man who scolds me for sneaking one Oreo before bed. The same man who insists on strict kitchen rules about using proper utensils and not leaving crumbs. And yet, there he was, shirtless, might I add, fork in hand, halfway through what used to be my leftover pasta primavera. The crowd roared. Mark, flustered but grinning, leaned into the joke. All right, guilty as charged. But you know what? At least I didn't lie about it. I owned it. Kelly tilted her head, giving him a look she often reserved for their kids when they tried to weasel out of trouble. Oh, you owned it only after I caught you. Let's not pretend you were about to confess this crime. You were literally mid-bite when I walked in. Hypocrisy. Someone from the audience shouted, and Kelly laughed so hard she nearly lost her breath. Exactly, she said, pointing toward the voice. That's the word I was searching for. Hypocrisy. This man loves to play the role of household sheriff, making rules for everyone else. But the second he thinks no one's watching, he breaks every single one of them. Isn't that right, Mr. Primavera? Mark leaned back in his chair, raising his hands in surrender. I'll admit it. I'm a hypocrite. But let me remind you, this so-called midnight raid you're mocking me for, it was for your cooking. Doesn't that count as a compliment? The audience gave an awe, but Kelly wasn't about to let him off the hook that easily. Oh, now he's turning it into a compliment, she teased. This is what I live with, people. He could track mud through the house, and when I called him out, he'd say, but honey, isn't it romantic that I thought of you while I was stepping all over the clean floor? Mark smirked. Honestly, that's not a bad defense. I might use that one next time. Kelly threw her hands up dramatically. There won't be a next time, mister. I'm on to you. I see through this whole routine of yours, making me out to be the messy one, the snack thief, the rule breaker, when really, you're just projecting. Gasps of playful shock filled the studio, and Mark shook his head in disbelief. Projecting. That's a strong word. Don't psychoanalyze me on live television. Kelly leaned in, eyes wide with fox seriousness. Oh, I'll psychoanalyze you anywhere, darling. That's my marital right. The band struck a playful note, punctuating her remark, and the laughter kept rolling in. Then, just as the moment seemed ready to wrap, Kelly delivered the final blow. And let's not forget, this is the same man who preaches about his strict fitness routine. But did I not find him last weekend hiding in the pantry with a bag of sour gummy worms? The studio lost it. Mark doubled over in laughter, shaking his head, clearly defeated. You weren't supposed to bring that up, he groaned. Kelly leaned back in triumph. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. My husband, the great Consuelos, is a hypocrite of the highest order, and I will be starting a support group for anyone else who has to live with one of these lovable, rule-breaking enforcers. Mark, still laughing, leaned across the desk to kiss her cheek. Guilty, but at least I'm adorable. Kelly pretended to wipe her cheek. Adorable? Hypocritical, yes. Adorable. Jury still out. The crowd applauded, the moment sealing itself as one of those classic live exchanges. Equal parts genuine, hilarious, and just enough truth to keep fans buzzing about Kelly and Mark's dynamic long after the show ended. Behind the scenes, when the cameras stopped rolling, Kelly and Mark continued to tease each other. You know, Mark said, draping an arm around her as they walked backstage, if you keep calling me out like this, people are going to think I'm a fraud. Kelly grinned. Not a fraud. Just human. And very, very busted. But admit it, Mark pressed, flashing that charming grin that once won her heart. You secretly love catching me in these moments. It makes for great TV. Kelly paused, pretending to consider. True. Maybe I should thank you for being such a hypocrite. Without you, what would I even talk about in the morning? Mark kissed the top of her head. Exactly. So you're welcome. Hypocrisy never looked so good. Kelly laughed, rolling her eyes but squeezing his hand, and though the world would keep calling him out, in reality, it was just another glimpse of their marriage, equal parts love, comedy, and a healthy dose of keeping each other honest.